I think anytime you have a step change that proves the naysayers wrong, it should have a spillover effect. And, one little example is we have a company we started called Squeeze Biotech. It is essentially a cancer vaccine, although other things as well. And when it started, we had a lot of people saying, and you know, don't call it a cancer vaccine. You'll scare off investors. You'll scare off. The day that it went public, I think its opening price was 16 after the Moderna and the Pfizer BioNTech vaccines, came into the market and got, released their trial results. I think Squeeze's stock was at 32. Now, it could have been just the general market uplift, but this was an unusual lift. And so I was saying to the team, first of all, don't get excited because it doesn't matter. But second, what is going on here? And part of it had to be, and I say this with all humility, that people were saying, wait a second, there's something about vaccines that is tremendously powerful and maybe nearer term than we ever imagined. So I think it is going to be reassuring. The other thing that I would say is it shows, look at BioNTech. It almost went out of business, right? And I think one of the most challenging things for any venture group and for any scientist is to call the question of when is enough enough. And if you ask me, one of the things that haunts me, it's had somebody 3 years ago given up on BioNTech, and had they not been this husband and wife team that just had a vision and determination, maybe they wouldn't have survived. And when do you know that the lopsidedness is justified? And when do you know that it's time to call the question? And when we see innovation, and I think if you look at stem cells and regenerative medicine, it's another area. Coming forward, that's one of the most hopeful things that I think both, Megan, Michelle, and I would probably all say keeps us, going during the difficult times.
Let me ask you a follow-on question about regenerative medicine. So much of the focus has been on vaccines and on cell therapies for cancer. But what about regenerative medicine? There's been a lot of hope for it. Will we see some success stories in regenerative medicine during this decade?
During this decade, so you say the 20s, so we're in a new one. So that gives me 10 years. Yeah, I think we will. I think, this may be one of those times innovation feels incremental and it's built on a lot of different mistakes until all of a sudden it isn't and it coalesces. And I think we may be at that period of coalescing, and I'm sure Megan's and my portfolio reflects some real investment in that area now.